There are moments when I sit quietly and wonder, what is this world truly made of? Our eyes see objects, our ears hear sounds, but when we listen deeply, we can sense a subtle current flowing through everything. As if there is a shared heartbeat for the entire universe, a gentle but steady vibration that never stops. Everything, from breath and light to fleeting thoughts, is vibrating at some frequency. And if everything is energy, then perhaps life is not only what we can touch with our hands, but also what we radiate from our minds. I remember once reading a verse in the Bible, and it made me pause for a long time. For in him we live and move and have our being. Acts 17:28. That sentence opened up a whole new sky. It turns out we are not separate from God or from the source of creative energy. We are living within him, within that flow. Every movement, every thought is an expression of divine energy, and we are simply learning to sense it more clearly. When I realized this, everything familiar suddenly felt different. Sunlight was no longer just sunlight, but a greeting from energy. The sound of the wind was no longer just a sound, but the breath of the universe. Even the people we meet on the road, the unexpected conversations, could be signals from the energy guiding us in the right direction. Science calls it energy, religion calls it spirit, and the ancients called it the breath of God. Whatever language we use, it is still the same essence, invisible, yet giving birth to everything visible. Einstein once wrote that energy and matter are simply two expressions of the same reality. When I read that, I suddenly understood why prayers have power. When we direct our energy towards something with full faith, we are changing the structure of reality. We are sending a signal into the invisible field of energy, and the universe responds in the same frequency. Every thought, no matter how small, emits a vibration. When we are afraid, energy contracts, as if the flow is blocked. When we trust, it expands, and the world around us opens too. Perhaps that is why sometimes just changing one belief can shift the entire direction of our life. We do not necessarily need to do more, but to understand more deeply that we are not separate from the creative source of energy. From the moment we think, feel, or dream, energy begins to move. It does not need permission, only cooperation. And that cooperation begins with faith. When I started to live more slowly and observe my small reactions, I realized that every emotion is a form of subtle energy. Joy makes everything around brighter, lighter. Gratitude attracts good things naturally. But when I worry or doubt, the space around me feels heavier, denser. When we speak of good energy or bad energy, we are really speaking about the frequency our heart is sending out. And since the universe always mirrors us, we receive what matches that frequency. This is not a mystical miracle, but a natural law, like gravity, only operating in the unseen world of the mind. If we imagine life as a mirror, we can understand why everything reflects exactly what we think and believe. When we believe we are limited, the mirror reflects limitation. When we believe we are protected, the mirror shines brighter and warmer. Everything is simply the reaction of energy to energy. The more aware we are of this, the less we blame circumstances, and instead begin to look within. What am I sending out? What do I truly believe? Sometimes, just one small change in thought, one spark of awareness, is enough to shift the entire flow of energy. There are days when I walk in nature and feel this connection so clearly. Light shining through leaves, the sound of dripping water, the scent of damp earth, all breathing as one. When my mind grows still, it feels as if the whole universe is inhaling and exhaling with me. No boundary between me and the world. It is a strange feeling, both small and infinite. And I understand this is where every spiritual journey begins, in realizing we are not alone, that everything around us is alive, with its own language. Once you reach that moment, you will see reality begin to soften. The things you desire come more easily, because you are no longer chasing, but flowing with the universe. When you send out love, it returns. When you send out fear, it returns too. Not because someone rewards or punishes, but because energy can only resonate with itself. Like music, each note rings clear only when it harmonizes with the right frequency. I believe that within each of us lies an ancient memory, deeper than any religion or knowledge. It is the memory of our origin, where we and the divine are not two, where energy and consciousness are one. We may have forgotten, but that does not mean it is gone. All it takes is a moment of stillness, a moment of believing that something greater is moving with us, and we begin to remember everything starts from that awareness, that we are part of the energy of the universe, and that energy always responds to what we carry in our hearts. If you are hearing these words, allow me to speak to you, as if you were sitting right in front of me. Maybe you have felt that something deeper is at work behind this world, haven't you? A force you cannot see, but you know it is there. Sometimes it reveals itself in the smallest moments, when you think of someone and they call you right after, or when a door opens just as you thought you would reach the end. Those moments are not random. They're the energy of the universe responding to you, as if whispering, "I hear you." The universe is not silent. It listens to every thought, every word, every wish that comes from your soul. Because, as Einstein once said, energy and matter are not two different things. They are two forms of the same essence, constantly transforming into each other. Everything you see, your body, the walls around you, even the dreams you hold in your heart, all begin as energy. Matter is simply energy condensed, like light pressed into form, which means when you think of something with enough faith, you are sending energy into the creative field, and that energy will find a way to become matter, to become reality. Imagine an endless ocean where everything is connected. Each thought of yours is a small ripple spreading outward from your center, colliding with countless other ripples, and then returning. What you experience is the reflection of that ocean. When you focus on joy, the ripples of joy spread. When you focus on fear, the ocean reflects that fear. Nothing happens by accident. The universe is simply responding honestly to the frequency you send out. And this is what I want you to feel deeply. You have the power to guide that energy. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are the sender of the signal, the creator. If you are longing for a new life, begin within your mind. Change what you focus on. Every time you think, "I lack something," that energy spreads and attracts more lack. But when you start to look around and say, "I am grateful for this," no matter how small it is, you are shifting your frequency. You are sending the message, "I am ready for more." And the universe, faithful to its nature, will respond in kind. Psalm 33:9 says, "For he spoke, and it came to be. He commanded, and it stood firm." Have you ever paused to realize that you too are speaking to energy with every word you say? Every word you utter is a command sent into the world around you. When you say, "I am so tired," energy begins arranging experiences that make you feel even more tired. But when you say, "I am being restored," the field of energy moves to fulfill that statement. So speak what you want, not what you fear. Practice speaking in the language of faith, even if you cannot yet see the result. Many people ask, "How can I believe when I do not see?" But faith, in its truest meaning, is to believe in what is not yet seen. It is the power that even Jesus emphasized. Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. Mark 11:24. Not a vague belief, but a deep certainty, as if it has already happened. Because when you believe like that, the energy within you begins to align. You create a vibration that matches what you desire, and that vibration attracts matching circumstances, like two musical notes resonating in harmony. Let me ask you this. Have you ever tried to feel what you want as if it were already happening? Instead of waiting, imagine that what you are asking for has already come true. Feel it with all your senses. See it, hear it, smell it, touch it, and smile as if it already belongs to you. When you do this, you are creating an energetic blueprint of the reality you desire. And because energy always seeks to take form, that blueprint will slowly materialize. I know, you may have heard this before and thought, "I tried, but nothing happened." Remember, energy does not respond to words, it responds to belief. If doubt still lives inside you, the flow of energy is split. The universe only responds to a clear signal. So what matters is not repeating affirmations, but living fully in the feeling of what you believe is real. Sometimes just believing a little more, holding faith for one more moment, is enough for energy to turn into results. I want you to try this right now. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, and think of something you truly desire. Not what you think you should want, but what your heart longs for most. Picture it as a light radiating from your chest, spreading through your body, and beyond, merging with the space around you. That light is the frequency of faith. When you hold that image long enough, something begins to change. Fear fades, peace arrives, and in that peace, the universe hears you more clearly than ever before. Do not think you must be perfect to guide energy. The light does not ask for perfection, only honesty. When you are truthful with yourself, you open the way for energy to flow. Every mistake, every wound from the past is just dust covering that light. When you forgive, when you let go, the energy begins to move again. That is why those who live with love and gratitude seem to have a special magnetism. They do not force it. They simply live in the flow. If you are hearing these words now, it may not be by chance. Perhaps this is the moment you are reminded that you always have the power to create. Look at your hands. Everything you have ever touched or made began with a thought. So if one thought can change an action, a strong thought can change an entire life. From today on, let your thoughts carry the frequency of what you want to experience. Peace, abundance, love, creativity. Let your energy speak before your words ever do. One day, you will look back and realize that nothing in your life was random. Every person you met, every opportunity that appeared, every dream that took shape, all of it was the universe responding to the energy you sent out. You will understand that you were never abandoned, never separated from the source of light. Everything was simply a lesson to help you remember the creative power that has always been in your hands. And then, when a soft breeze passes by, you will hear within your heart a gentle whisper, "You and I are one." If you are still here, it means a part of your soul wants to listen, wants to remember something your heart has always known, but your mind has forgotten. And maybe you have begun to sense something very subtle, that every thought you send out, no matter how small, touches invisible threads that connect you to the universe. Every time you think, every time you feel, you are creating vibrations. They do not disappear. They ripple outward, collide with other vibrations, and return to you as experiences. That is why when you are angry, unpleasant situations keep showing up. And when you are peaceful, the world around you becomes softer too. Let me say this clearly. You cannot send out the vibration of worry and expect to receive peace. You cannot live in lack and expect abundance. The universe does not understand the language of wishing. It only understands the language of belief. When you believe that what you want already exists, that energy is activated. This is not magic. It is a law. Every time you imagine something with full emotion, you are programming energy for a matching reality. The universe, like a giant mirror, reflects only what you already are, not what you simply wish to have. Someone once asked me, "How can I believe when I see nothing?" I smiled. Because if you only believe when you see, that is no longer faith, that is proof. Faith, in its sacred meaning, is to believe in what cannot yet be seen. In the Bible, it is written, "Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Mark 11:24. That is the deep principle of manifestation. You do not wait to believe, you believe to receive. When you live as if it has already come true, the universe begins arranging circumstances for it to become real. Faith is not just a feeling, it is the current that moves energy. So, I want you to try this. Think of something you truly desire, not what others expect from you, but what makes your heart light up when you think of it. It could be an opportunity, a partner, healing, or simply a more peaceful life. Close your eyes and whisper, "I already have it." Do not say, "I will have," because that is the language of waiting. Say, "I already have," because that is the language of faith. When you say it, your body starts to respond, your energy shifts, and the universe hears you. At times, you may feel doubt, because your reality has not yet reflected what you wish for. But remember, energy needs time to crystallize into matter, just like a seed needs seasons, water, and sunlight before it sprouts. If you give up midway out of impatience, you stop right at the doorway. So keep believing. Nurture the feeling of having, not the fear of lacking. When you do that, you move in rhythm with creative energy. And within that rhythm, everything starts to align. Many people live in anxiety because they think they must control everything. But the universe does not need your control, only your cooperation. It is like dancing with the river. You cannot force the water to flow your way, but you can let yourself move with it. When you soften your heart, energy begins to flow. You become clearer, lighter, and naturally, what you desire begins to find you. Not because you force it, but because you have become the one who matches it. The universe always works by resonance, like attracts. You may have heard someone say, you attract what you think. But the deeper truth is that you attract what you believe. Thoughts are the surface. Belief is the depth. You can say, I am abundant, but if deep inside you believe you are unworthy, the energy still carries lack. So the first step is not to change the outer world, but to tune your inner frequency. Begin with gratitude, because gratitude is the purest state of faith. When you are grateful for small things, you send out the message that you already have. And when the energy of having spreads, the universe brings you more of the same. You can try this right now. Take a deep breath and think of 3 things you are grateful for today. It could be your breath, a friend, or simply the fact that you have the chance to hear these words. As you do this, the energy within you shifts. Your body feels lighter, your mind clearer. That is the moment you begin to guide energy. You do not need rituals, only awareness. Because energy does not listen to please, it listens to the vibration of your heart. And I want to say this, softly but sincerely. If these words touch you, if you feel a gentle warmth spreading in your chest as you listen, do not let it pass as a fleeting emotion. Do something small to affirm to the universe that you are ready to enter this flow. It could be a thought, an affirmation, or a simple action like pressing like, sharing this video, or leaving a comment with the words, I believe, not for me, but for yourself, as an energetic signature that you have chosen to believe. Because when you act, energy is sealed. It becomes real. I believe you are not hearing these words by coincidence. Perhaps your soul sent out a signal, and this is how the universe answered. Every encounter, whether through sound or image, happens for a reason. Do not doubt that you are guided here to remember your power. From now on, when you speak, speak knowing your words carry energy. When you think as a co-creator. When you feel with gratitude and the faith that everything you desire has already begun to move. Psalm 37:4 says, delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. This means when you rejoice in the divine energy, when you live with gratitude, trust, and joy, the universe responds with grace. Joy is not the reward at the end. It is the path itself. When you celebrate the present moment, creative energy flows most powerfully. If you truly understand this, you will realize that your dreams are not far away. They already exist, in another layer of energy, just waiting for you to step into the matching frequency to meet them. And that path begins within you, in stillness, in faith, in small acts of trust, no matter where you are. As soon as you start sending out the frequency of love and gratitude, you have already touched the sacred energy that creates all things. The universe is not distant. It is listening to you, right in this very moment. And when you believe that what you desire is already yours, the universe will respond with a smile in its own way. So believe, be grateful, and act as if it is already yours. From that very moment, the miracle begins. I want to tell you about something very ancient, a ritual that has been passed down through generations. It is so simple that anyone can do it, yet so profound that once you truly understand it, you will never see the world the same way again. The ancients believed that certain objects in nature could hold and channel energy, as if they were bridges between the physical and the spiritual. One of these is the red clove, a tiny seed carrying the power of abundance and vitality. You may know clove as a spice, but for those who see with the eyes of the soul, it is the symbol of the inner flame, the seed of creative energy. I remember the feeling the first time I held 7 red cloves in my hand. They were small, dry, aromatic, with a deep red hue like sleeping flames. I did nothing right away, just held them tightly in my right palm, closed my eyes, and listened. There was a faint vibration, like the heartbeat of Mother Earth. The ancients said that when we connect with nature through respect and gratitude, the energy of all things begins to respond. I felt it, not as some distant miracle, but as a real sensation, that this world is alive and breathing with me. If you want to try, do it with me now. Prepare 7 red cloves, symbols of 7 doors opening to the energy of prosperity. Hold them in your right hand, the hand of action, of giving, of creation. Then, slowly, 1 clove at a time, 7 times like a bridge between consciousness and energy, say, "These cloves attract prosperity into my life." Say it with faith, not with hope. Hope comes from fear. Faith comes from gratitude. As you speak those words, imagine a golden light radiating from your palm, surrounding the cloves. Feel the warmth, the ease, the peace. That is energy in motion. Psalm 37:4 says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." You see, even the Bible teaches that joy and faith are the keys to abundance. When you delight in the presence of divine light, when you feel this life as a gift, the energy of prosperity naturally finds you. The cloves are only a medium, a symbol to focus your energy. But it is the vibration of faith that brings the miracle to life. After you finish speaking 7 times, gently place the cloves inside your wallet, among your money. Do not see this as superstition. See it as a symbolic act, a way of telling the energy, "I am ready to let abundance flow through my life." Every time you open your wallet, you will see them as a reminder that you live in the energy of sufficiency. Remember, the universe does not respond to begging. It responds to the frequency of gratitude. When you look at your wallet with appreciation instead of worry, that energy expands and begins to change your reality. If you can, share this energy with others. It could be a single clove or simply a blessing. When you give, you send the signal that you have enough to share, and that is the most powerful signal of abundance. Every flow in the universe moves by the law of giving and receiving. Water stays pure when it flows. Light shines only when it spreads. The energy of prosperity works the same way. When you hold tight out of fear, the flow stops. But when you give with joy, it returns to you stronger and fuller. Some might say, "How can a tiny clove do anything?" But the miracle never lies in the object. It lies in the energy you send into it. If you see it as meaningless, it will be nothing more than a piece of wood. But if you see it as a symbol of faith, it becomes a vessel of energy. Just as the cross is not merely wood, but a symbol of love and belief. Energy is activated by intention. And when your intention is pure, the entire universe begins to resonate. Imagine seeing the cloves glowing inside your wallet. Each time you open it, you smile softly and say, "I am grateful for the abundance growing in my life." It feels like morning sunlight, warm, gentle, and full of hope. You will begin to notice something: new opportunities, unexpected blessings, or simply a calm sense of security about money. That is energy responding. People often think that to receive more, we must do more. But in truth, to receive, we simply need to open more. The red clove, with its fiery color, reminds us that abundance does not come from outside. It rises from within. When your heart burns bright, when you live joyfully, when you are grateful for even the smallest things, the energy of prosperity cannot help but flow toward you. I remember once, a friend tried this ritual. She expected nothing. She just did it with simple faith. A week later, she received a job offer she had not even been looking for. When she told me, I was not surprised. I smiled because I knew she had changed her inner frequency. When she stopped worrying about money, she began to radiate the energy of someone who knows she will always be provided for. And the world responded accordingly. This world does not need more fear. It needs more people who believe in goodness. And perhaps this small ritual is simply a way for you to remember that power. Do it with faith, with love, with gratitude. No need to force or beg. Just feel that you are surrounded by the energy of abundance. When I did this for the first time, the miracle did not appear instantly, but something changed within me. Peace. I no longer thought of lack. I felt enough, and slowly, good things began to come. I did not have to chase them. They came to me softly, like the wind. I want you to understand that the ritual is not the destination. It is the doorway. A doorway for you to realize that creative energy is always around you, waiting for your direction. When you do the ritual with sincerity, you are saying to the universe, "I remember, I am ready to create with you." And then the energy begins to flow, not only into your wallet, but into your heart, into every part of your life. If this speaks to you, try it. No need to be perfect. No need to find the right time. Just do it with gratitude and the faith that you are being guided. Because within each small clove, the universe has placed a spark of light, the light of abundance, the flame that never dies. And when you hold them in your hand, you are holding the oldest promise of all, that what you believe, you will see. I want you to imagine a very simple scene. On the table sits a clear glass jar, empty and clean. Light reflects off the surface, making it shine as if it already holds something sacred. You look into the empty space inside, and I want you to know that this space is the mirror of your own mind. It is a symbol of purity, the open field where new energy can be poured in. Sometimes, to allow a miracle to happen, we must make room for it, like breathing. Only when you exhale completely can you take a deeper breath. And today, we will do just that. We will create space for the energy of peace, protection, and prosperity to flow in. The ancients believed that glass could hold light, and clove symbolized fire. When we combine these two elements, light and fire, we create a powerful gateway of energy. The clear glass jar represents a still mind, and the 7 red cloves are the flames of faith. When you place them together, you are joining the 2 poles of creation, stillness and strength. One side is openness, the other is intention. Only when these 2 meet does energy truly begin to move. Do this with me. Take 7 red cloves and gently place them into the glass jar. Do not close the lid yet. Before you begin, place both hands around the jar, as if you are holding something sacred. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. As you exhale, imagine every worry, every fear about money or lack, dissolving like mist and leaving your body. Then breathe in again, feeling the space within your chest expand, lighter and brighter. Say softly and slowly, all burdens have melted away. I am surrounded by the energy of safety and abundance. As you speak these words, feel peace spreading from your chest, down through your arms, and into your hands holding the jar. You may feel a gentle warmth, or simply a calmness within, that is, energy moving. Every word you speak is a command to energy, and when you speak with faith, energy listens. Scripture says, all things are possible to him who believes. Mark 9:23. Faith is not waiting for a miracle. It is realizing that the miracle has always been here, waiting for you to open your heart to see it. I once did this ritual on a rainy afternoon. At the time, I was worried about work, about bills to pay. I held the jar in my hands, and instead of asking for anything, I just breathed. I imagined every number, every weight of responsibility dissolving into the mist outside the window. When I placed the 7 cloves in the jar, I wished for nothing but peace. And strangely enough, the next day, I received a message from an old friend, offering a new opportunity in the exact field I loved. I understood that the energy had responded, not because I did the ritual right, but because in that moment, I was no longer sending out the vibration of fear. I was sending out trust. So when you do this ritual, do not think only about money. Think about the feeling of freedom, of peace, of living without burden. As you hold the glass jar, imagine every debt dissolving, every pressure turning into light and leaving you. Picture yourself standing in a golden open space where no worries cling to you. That lightness you feel is the frequency you are sending to the universe. And from that frequency, everything begins to form. The energy of protection does not only keep you safe in the material sense, it brings peace to your spirit. When your mind is calm, you begin to see paths that fear once hid from you. The universe always has a solution for every challenge, but we cannot see it when our minds are clouded by worry. When you perform this ritual, you are not just clearing debts in your reality, you are clearing them in your energy, letting go of the frequency of lack and replacing it with the frequency of abundance. I want you to understand that the 7 cloves are not a random number. 7 is the symbol of wholeness, the cycle of completion in the Bible. 7 days of creation, 7 heavens, 7 notes of music. When you use 7, you are sending a message that you trust in the completeness of the universe. You are not asking for more. You are aligning with the rhythm of enough. And in that moment, you are protected. Someone once asked me, if I don't believe, will this still work? I said, the ritual does not demand blind faith. It simply invites you to pause, to connect, to feel. Because when you pause, you are already different. When you allow stillness, and pour full intention into a single action, your energy gathers. And gathered energy is creative energy. Everything great in the material world began from a moment of such focus. After you finish, close the lid of the jar and place it somewhere you can often see it, maybe on your desk or near a window. Each time you see it, remember the sense of safety you created. That jar has now become a container of energy, a small pillar of light within your home. It reminds you that you no longer need to fear. You are protected. The energy of peace surrounds you. If you feel moved to share, give another person a similar jar, not to transfer power, but to spread that feeling of safety. When one person feels calm, they radiate calmness into the world. Perhaps that is why the ancients taught that giving is the quickest path to receiving, because in giving, you affirm that you already have enough, and the universe responds by expanding your abundance. I cannot promise that all your financial problems will vanish overnight, but I can promise that if you do this ritual with genuine faith, the first thing you will feel is peace. And from peace, everything else begins to arrive. Money, opportunities, relationships, all are forms of energy flowing toward you. Peace is the door that opens the flow. The Bible says, "All things are possible to him who believes." When you believe, you allow the universe to move with you. When you place 7 cloves in the jar, you are sending a signal into the vast field of energy that you are ready to receive. No more doubt, no more fear, only faith and gratitude. Let the jar become a symbol of your new beginning. Each time you see it, remember that within you lies the power to turn fear into calm, lack into abundance. And when you live in that energy, your life will transform, not because the world has changed, but because you have changed the way you see the world. There is another ritual, gentle yet full of power. The ancients called it the ritual of giving, because it not only opens the flow of prosperity, but also reminds us of a deeper truth. When you allow energy to move through you, you become a channel for miracles. And the beauty of giving is that the more you give, the more you are filled. Prepare a small spray bottle, made of glass if possible, or any material that feels natural to you. Fill it with clean water, the purest you can find. Water is the symbol of life, of flow, of receptivity. In every civilization, water has been seen as a carrier of energy, the soul of purification. Now, drop 7 red cloves into the water, 7 tiny flames merging into a cool current, representing the union of 2 forces, fire and water, intention and surrender. Do not rush. Place the bottle before you and take a few deep breaths to calm your mind. Then say slowly, "This is the prosperity mist of my life." Repeat it 7 times, each time imagining the energy of faith merging into every drop. As you repeat your affirmation, the water is no longer just water. It becomes energy activated by your intention. Science has shown that water can record vibrational patterns. When you speak words of love, water molecules form harmonious shapes. When you speak in fear, they distort. So right now, every word you speak is writing the language of energy. When the ritual is complete, keep this spray as your companion. Each morning, before you leave home, gently spray a light mist over your hands. Just a soft touch of water is enough. As the droplets touch your skin, imagine golden light spreading from your fingertips throughout your body, filling the space around you. Say silently, "I bless everything I touch." And as you go about your day, when you work, write, or meet others, believe that this energy moves with you, the energy of giving, of creation, of abundance. You will notice something. Life begins to flow more smoothly. People around you respond differently. New doors open in unexpected ways. This is not coincidence. When you shift your frequency, the world reflects it. Like someone wearing a beautiful fragrance, you change the atmosphere just by being there. When you carry the energy of giving, reality naturally gives back to you. Psalm 1-3 says, "He shall be like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither." I believe that when you live in the energy of giving, you become that tree. Your roots grow deep into the infinite source, never running dry. Your leaves stay green because you know how to receive and release at the same time. The current does not stop at you. It flows through you into the world and returns clearer than before. And this is also when the sign 111 appears the number of new beginnings. If, in the coming days, you start seeing this number on clocks, receipts, or license plates, do not see it as coincidence. It is the universe saying hello, reminding you that your creative journey has begun. The number 1 symbolizes creation, the birth of intention. 3 ones in a row carry a powerful message. Your energy is aligning, light is opening, and a new gateway is forming. If you feel it, trust that you are moving in the right direction. The ritual of the prosperity mist is not about calling in money, but about remembering that true prosperity comes not from receiving, but from radiating positive energy into the world. When you spray that mist on your hands, you are declaring, "Everything I touch carries the mark of light." Over time, you will notice that every small action, writing an email, speaking kindly, smiling becomes a seed of blessing. And like all seeds, they will sprout, multiply, and return to you many times over. Remember this: you cannot keep light for yourself. Light exists only when it spreads. You cannot hold love for yourself. Love truly lives only when it is shared. The energy of abundance is the same. The more you fear losing, the more you contract. The more you give, the more you expand. Every ritual, every prayer gains power only when it softens and opens your heart. Do this ritual each morning, not as a duty, but as a way to awaken your spirit. When the water touches your skin, smile and remember that you hold the oldest power of all the power of loving energy. You do not need to control anything. Simply live as if you already have everything. When you walk in that faith, each step becomes a prayer. I once knew someone who practiced this ritual for 30 days straight. She made no big changes in her work, but something amazing happened. Her relationships transformed completely. People who were once distant became kind. New opportunities appeared out of nowhere. When I asked how she felt, she said, "I feel lighter, and it's like I'm carrying light." I believe that was not an illusion, it was truth. She had become a transmitter of energy. When you radiate light, that light reflects back to you, multiplied. The water in your spray bottle is not magic, but a symbol of the energy flowing through you. Each droplet is a reminder that you are part of this sacred movement. Every morning, as you lift the bottle, take a moment to thank the universe. Thank it for your breath, for your ability to feel, for your hands that can create goodness. Gratitude is the frequency that opens every door. When you are grateful, your energy glows. And in that light, prosperity finds its way to you. If you truly believe, you will begin to feel it clearly that life has never been against you. The universe does not punish or test you. It only mirrors the energy you send out. When you step into the world with hands blessed by the mist of prosperity, you are telling life, "I am ready to give the best of myself." And the world will answer, always. If in the days ahead you start seeing the number 111 again and again, smile and know that the universe is saying, "Keep going. The door is opening." And if these words touch you, leave a small sign, maybe just the number 111 as your affirmation, that you are ready to begin this new chapter of energy. Believe, because you are never alone in this flow. You are part of it. Like a drop belongs to the ocean. Like light belongs to the Sunday. When you give, you return to the source. And in that return, every miracle begins. There is a miraculous energy that every ancient wisdom speaks of, yet we often overlook it because it seems too simple. The energy of gratitude. Gratitude is the language the universe understands best. It does not need requests or complex rituals, only an open heart that says, "Thank you for being alive, for being guided, for still being able to feel." When you say thank you, your energy changes instantly. It becomes brighter, softer, and begins to resonate with the frequency of love, the highest frequency in all of creation. I want you to pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and think of one thing you are grateful for right now. It could be someone who once helped you, the morning sunlight, or simply the fact that you can still hear these words. Let that feeling of gratitude spread through your chest like a warm wave. When you truly feel it, you open a new doorway of energy, the doorway of harmony. And in that state, miracles begin to find you. Psalm 100:4 says, "Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise." This is not only a teaching about worship, but also a secret of energy. When you are grateful, You step through the low vibrations and enter a higher frequency. You step into the light, where everything you desire already exists. The universe does not judge who is worthy or unworthy. It only responds to the frequency you send out. And gratitude is the frequency of abundance. When you are truly grateful, you cannot be fearful or angry at the same time. Those two energies cannot coexist in the same space. Gratitude dissolves fear, as light dissolves darkness. You will notice that when you practice gratitude regularly, good things naturally appear not because they were suddenly given to you, but because you have finally become bright enough to see that they were always there. I once heard someone say that gratitude is the most perfect prayer. I believe that. When you are grateful, you no longer say please, you say thank you. And when you say thank you, you affirm that what you desire already exists. The energy of already having is 100 times stronger than the energy of I wish. Try this. Each morning before you start your day, do not rush into your to-do list. Think of 3 things you are grateful for, no matter how small. When you do this every day, you are training your energy to see the light, and the light will come more and more. Gratitude is also a healer. When your mind is heavy with the past or worried about the future, gratitude brings you back to the present, the only place where life energy truly exists. When you silently say thank you for your own breath, you align with the rhythm of the universe. You no longer resist or fight against the flow. And in that surrender, healing begins. This is also the moment when the sign 333 appears, the number of protection and guidance from the higher realms. When you see this number, remember you are not alone. There are higher energies and loving presences walking with you, guiding you every step of the way. The number 3 represents creation and harmony, body, mind, and spirit, past, present, and future. When 3 seconds appear together, it is a reminder that you are surrounded by the energy of love, by guardian angels, by invisible support that you do not need to prove. I want you to remember, the universe never leaves you alone. Whenever you feel lost, whisper 333. Let it be a calling home, a way to remind yourself that there is light watching over you. When you rekindle that faith, you raise your vibration, and from that vibration, miracles begin to form. Let that faith become your breath. As you walk, as you work, as you face challenges, just remember, you are never alone. Sometimes gratitude does not come easily. There are days when the world feels cold, when loss weighs heavy. But it is in those days that, if you can find even one reason to say thank you, you have already conquered the darkness. When you are thankful in pain, your energy becomes infinitely stronger, because then, your faith is not based on circumstance, but on the light within. The universe hears that and responds with grace. I remember a woman who once told me she had lost everything: her job, her marriage, her health. Yet every morning she still wrote 3 things she was grateful for in a small notebook. At first, they were very simple. I'm grateful that I can still walk. I'm grateful for a warm cup of tea. Gradually, her energy changed. She began to see new opportunities, meet new people, and most of all, she felt peace like never before. She wasn't looking for a miracle. She became the miracle. That is the power of gratitude. If you want your energy to shift, stop searching outside yourself. Begin with one sincere thank you. When you wake up, thank life for another morning of light. When you eat, thank the food that nourishes you. When you face difficulties, thank the lesson it brings. Every thank you is a seed of light planted in the garden of your soul. And one day, that garden will bloom with miracles. Psalm 107:1 reminds us, "Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. His love endures forever." That eternal love is not somewhere far away. It lives within your own heart, in your capacity to be grateful. When you are grateful, you become a vessel of that divine love. And the world, no matter how loud or vast, begins to change because of one thankful heart. I want you to try this in the days ahead. Whenever you feel tired, do not fight it. Stop for a moment. Place your hand on your chest and say, I am grateful that I am still here. Then, take a deep breath. Imagine white light filling and surrounding you, soothing every wound. This is how you restore your energy. When you do this often enough, you will realize that the miracle is not far away. It is right here, in every present moment. If these words warm your heart, share that energy by leaving the number 333 as a sign that you have received the universe's message. Let that number be your symbol, your reminder that you are awakening in love and gratitude. Because every time you share this energy, it not only touches your life, but also reaches other souls who need that light. Live as a grateful being, because when you are grateful, you are never lacking. You are already complete, and when you are complete, the universe can only respond with abundance, with love, and with blessings beyond what you can imagine. When you have learned to send energy into the world through gratitude and faith, another stage begins, the stage of letting go. This is the turning point many people resist, because letting go is often mistaken for giving up. But in truth, letting go is not about stopping your dreams. It is about releasing your attachment to them. It is not about ceasing to act. It is about no longer forcing outcomes. It is the state where you still plant the seed and water it, but you no longer stand guard waiting for it to sprout, because you trust that the laws of earth and light will do their work in perfect time. There is something I have realized on this journey. Often, we are not tired of life itself, but tired from trying to control it. We want everything to unfold according to our plans. We want others to understand us. We want results to arrive immediately. And in those moments, our energy becomes tangled. The universe cannot flow when our minds are crowded with conditions. But when we release control, everything begins to move in harmony. Not because we stop caring, but because we step aside to let the wisdom of the source take the lead. Scripture says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." Hebrews 11:1. It reminds us that we do not need to see the path before we walk, for the path appears when we walk by faith. When you let go, you are saying to the universe, "I trust you. I trust your timing, your way, and what is unfolding." And the mystery is, once you trust, urgency fades, and when you are no longer rushing, everything seems to arrive faster. Letting go is the art of complete trust. You still do your part, still dream, still act, still love, but within you, there is no trembling fear of, what if it doesn't happen? Because you understand that what is meant for you will find its way, and what is not will move aside to make room for something greater. This is not indifference. It is the wisdom of a soul that has matured. When you reach that state, your energy becomes clear, free of resistance, free of fear, and in that very moment, the miracle begins. I remember a time when I wanted something so much that I could not sleep. I prayed, visualized, repeated affirmations all day long, but instead of feeling light, I felt exhausted. One night, I went outside, looked at the starry sky, and whispered, "Whether it comes or not, thank you." In that instant, something melted in my chest, a worry, a burden, a quiet voice that said, "Trust." 2 weeks later, what I had wished for arrived in the most unexpected way. That was when I understood that energy only needs to be released, not forced. Letting go does not mean losing motivation. It simply means not letting anxiety lead your actions. You still move forward, but from peace, not from fear. When you act from peace, your energy becomes light and radiant, and the universe, which mirrors that frequency, begins to open smoother, softer paths. You will see synchronicities appear, opportunities align perfectly, and life begins to feel as if everything is falling gently into place. This is the power of the number 555, the seal of sacred transformation. 555 does not signal an ending. It is a call to rise to a higher level. It tells you your soul is ready for change, that what is old is shedding to make room for light. When you see 555, do not be afraid. Smile, for it means your energy is being realigned to something greater. It may come as a new job, the end of an old relationship, or a shift in how you see life itself. However it arrives, trust that every change carries a blessing for your soul. If you feel you are in a transition where the old has not yet gone and the new has not yet come, remember you are walking through a sacred in-between. It is the phase where the universe is reorganizing your energy. Do not panic when things grow quiet. Sometimes, silence is the sign of great construction happening beneath the surface. Like a forest that must rest before it blooms, stillness is not the end. it is preparation for a brighter beginning. If you are going through change, tell yourself, I welcome everything with faith and gratitude. By doing this, you shift your energy from resistance to acceptance. And, in acceptance, energy begins to heal itself. Old wounds and fears start to dissolve, like morning mist under sunlight. You do not need to fight the darkness. You only need to turn on the light. And that light is your faith. Letting go is not a one-time act. It is a way of living. Each day, ask yourself, am I doing this from faith or from fear? If it is from faith, continue. If it is from fear, pause, breathe deeply, and say, I trust the flow. That flow is far wiser than your plans. It knows when, where, and how your desires will take shape. Your only task is to keep your heart clear, your spirit open, and your energy steady in the frequency of love. Psalm 55:22 says, Cast your burden on the Lord, and He will sustain you. When you release your worries, you lose nothing. You are simply placing them into larger hands. And when those hands hold them, you will feel lighter, calmer. That is the mark of true faith. When you know you are supported, you no longer need to control. When you stop controlling, energy begins to flow freely again, and miracles return to your path. If you have been seeing the number 555 lately, perhaps it is your personal message. It's time to let go. Breathe, smile, and know you are being guided. Every change unfolding now is bringing you closer to the person you were always meant to become. Trust this journey, even if you do not yet understand it. The universe never takes without giving something greater in return. When one door closes, it is not to trap you, but to lead you toward a wider one. Believe that every time you let go, another hand is reaching out to hold you. And in that hand, there is light, peace, and the promise that everything is unfolding in perfect order, under the law of love. If you feel you are in a time of transformation, let the number 555 be your declaration. I am ready for the new. Write it down, speak it aloud, or simply hold it in your heart. Because when you declare readiness, you open the door for the new to enter. And in that moment, your energy pure, trusting, unbound becomes the wind that carries your dreams into flight. When you begin to let go and trust, something wonderful starts to happen. Coincidences appear. You think of someone, and they call. You mention an idea, and the next day it shows up in a conversation, a book, or an opportunity. You might call it luck, but in truth, this is the language of the universe. The universe does not speak in words. It speaks in arrangements. Every coincidence is a message. Every sign is a piece of the puzzle. And if you are awake enough to see, you will realize that life has never been random. The ancients called this phenomenon synchronicity, the sacred alignment between your mind and the rhythm of the universe. When you are in harmony with the flow of energy, the outer world begins to reflect your inner world. You no longer have to force or push. Everything unfolds naturally. The door opens, the right person appears, the opportunity aligns. It feels as though you and the universe are dancing to the same melody, each step you take perfectly met by an unseen beat. Psalm 25:14 says, The secret of the Lord is with those who fear Him. He will show them His covenant. When your heart is full of faith and reverence, when you live in gratitude, God, or the divine energy of the universe, begins to reveal His covenant to you. It means you start to see how the divine works. It is no longer hidden or distant, but close, showing itself through signs, intuition, and the gentle flow of daily life. Remember that synchronicity does not only appear when things are going well, it also shows up when you need to adjust your path. If you keep noticing the same symbol, number, or phrase repeating, do not dismiss it. Ask yourself, what is the message here? The universe never repeats without reason. It is whispering, you're on the right path, or slow down, there's something to notice. When you start listening, life becomes a conversation, no longer a maze. I remember a time when everything in my life seemed to stand still. I kept seeing the number 999 everywhere on receipts, license plates, even the clock. At first I didn't understand, but later I learned that 999 is the sign of completion, the closing of a cycle. The universe was telling me that one chapter had ended, and I needed to prepare for the next. And indeed, a few weeks later, I left my old job and began this creative journey. When you start to see with the eyes of the soul, numbers are no longer meaningless symbols, they are the codes of the universe. If you've been seeing repeating numbers like 111, 333, 555, or 999, smile. You are being guided. You are being called by name. Every person who crosses your path, every event that unfolds, carries a message. You do not have to understand it all right away. Just trust that there is meaning, because when you believe, you open yourself to receive. The universe cannot send signals to a closed mind. It only whispers to hearts that listen. Sometimes synchronicity comes in very ordinary ways. A song plays at the exact moment you need to hear its words. A book falls open to the page that answers your question. A stranger smiles at you, and that smile warms your entire day. Do not underestimate these small moments. They are how energy speaks to you. These quiet instances are reminders that you are seen, loved, and cared for in every detail of your life. When you begin to trust synchronicity, the world becomes alive. Each day turns into an ongoing dialogue between you and the divine. You speak through feelings. The universe replies through signs. You send out a wish, and somewhere, in perfect timing, it returns to you in the form you need, not always the form you expect. I often tell those stepping into this awareness, trust the detours. Because sometimes, the universe does not take you straight to your goal. It leads you in circles so that you can learn what your soul needs. Synchronicity is not always pleasant. It might bring you face to face with someone who once hurt you, so you can know whether you have truly forgiven. It might repeat a challenge, only to show you that this time, you are stronger. Everything is guidance. Nothing is meaningless. Once you understand this, you begin to see life through new eyes, the eyes of an awakened soul. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? And when you ask that way, the universe smiles because you have learned its language. You are remembering the ancient covenant between you and the source of light, that you came here not just to live, but to awaken, to experience, and to co-create. Psalm 16:11 says, "You will show me the path of life. In your presence, there is fullness of joy." That path does not appear as a map, but as signs. That joy does not come after success, but in the very act of walking. When you live knowing that every moment carries meaning, life becomes a sacred journey. You begin to see that everything, both joy and sorrow, is an expression of the same love, teaching you how to come home. If you are hearing these words, ask yourself, what is the universe trying to tell me through what I've been noticing? Maybe it's a number, a person, a dream, or a quiet feeling that it's time to change direction. Trust that feeling. Intuition is the direct line between you and the creative source. When you follow it, you are following the divine within you. And if you start to notice synchronicities more often, share them. Sometimes, simply telling your story of a miraculous coincidence will awaken light in someone else's heart. Let them know that this world is alive, that energy is real, that every soul is heard. You are not only being guided, you might become a guide for someone else, simply by living with awareness. Remember, nothing is small in the eyes of the universe. A breeze, a word, a number, a glance, all can be messengers. And when you walk in that awareness, every day of your life becomes a miracle. Perhaps by now you have realized that this journey has never truly been about energy or ancient rituals. It is the story of remembrance, the story of the human soul slowly remembering that it has never been separate from the source of light. Every belief, every emotion, every sign you have encountered along the way has been the universe whispering, you have never been alone. When you understand this, you no longer need to prove anything or search outward. You simply become still, and the light finds its way to you. When I say be still, I do not mean stop living. I mean live with a peaceful heart, with the awareness that wherever you are, whatever you are doing, the universe is moving in your favor. You can be sitting in a quiet room or standing amid a noisy city, it makes no difference. What matters is that within you, there is still a space for silence. It is within that silence that creative energy awakens. You begin to hear what your soul truly needs, not what the world expects from you. Someone once asked me, so what is the purpose of this journey? I believe it is union, the moment when you no longer see separation between you and God, between good and bad, between gain and loss. They're all shades of the same grand painting. When you understand this, fear begins to fade, because you know that everything serves your awakening. And when you live from that place where your heart touches the light, you become the light itself. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." A simple line, yet it holds the wisdom of the universe, because only in stillness can you hear the divine voice within. That voice is not loud, not demanding it, whispers gently. You and I are one. That is the revelation every soul seeks, the reminder that you have never left the source, you have only forgotten for a while. Throughout this journey, you have moved through many layers of energy awareness: faith, action, gratitude, surrender, synchronicity, and now, union. Each layer is a doorway, and as you open them, you step closer to your true essence. You may not notice it, but every small act, a slower breath, a quiet thank you, a moment of kindness is sending ripples of energy through the universe, touching souls you may never meet. This is how light spreads, not through grand gestures, but through the subtlest vibrations of love. Imagine this moment. You are standing beneath the night sky, the Milky Way stretching above you. Every star is a soul, and among the countless lights, one shines back at you. That is the energy of the source, of God, of eternal love. Call it by any name you wish. That light is not out there. It is reflecting from within you. You are not reaching for it. You are it. Psalm 36:9 says, "For with you is the fountain of life. In your light, we see light." When you live in this awareness, you begin to see light everywhere, in a stranger's eyes, in a child's laughter, in the quiet of morning. And the things that once frightened, you lose their power. You no longer ask, "Why is this happening to me?" But instead, "Thank you for showing me who I am through this." That is true transformation, not from poor to rich, or from pain to joy, but from fear to love. When you begin to love even the parts of yourself you once hid, when you forgive your past, you become a clear vessel for energy to flow through. And when energy flows, everything else, money, health, relationships, begins to realign naturally. You no longer have to chase them. You simply vibrate at the frequency where they already exist. In the coming days, you may start to see one final sign, the number 999. If it appears, understand that you stand at the threshold of a sacred completion, not an ending in loss, but a fulfillment like the final note of a song making way for a new melody. Give thanks for everything that has been, both the beautiful and the difficult, for each moment has played its perfect part. If you feel this resonance within you, take a moment to be still. Close your eyes, place a hand on your heart, and whisper, "Thank you for helping me remember." Say it slowly. Do not think, just feel. Feel your heartbeat aligning with the heartbeat of the universe. Feel yourself surrounded by light, and know that the same light is flowing outward through every breath you take. The universe does not need you to be perfect. It only asks that you be present. And when you are fully present with both your light and your shadow, you are already whole. Live as if your life itself is a prayer, as if every word you speak and every step you take is part of a hymn of love, because truly it is. If you have walked with me to this point, I believe it is not by chance. Perhaps your soul had already agreed to meet these words to be reminded, to begin shining in its own way. So live in that light and share it. Tell others they too are loved, protected, and heard. Let this story continue beyond you, spreading like waves of light that reach the hearts still waiting to remember. Psalm 27:1 says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" When you truly believe this, fear dissolves, because love is your essence, and where love exists, darkness cannot remain. If you feel this deeply, express it through a small act, a comment, a message, or simply by closing your eyes and sending a kind thought into the world. Let that energy travel beyond you. For each time you do, the universe shines a little brighter. This journey does not end here. It is only beginning within you and through you. Step forward with gratitude, faith, and light in your heart, because you, all along, have been part of the miracle. Grateful that you chose to spend these moments in the light of this story. If it touched your soul, please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell so the next whisper of light may find its way back to you.